Welcome to the Power to Flourish podcast, where science meets the art of a beautiful life. I'm Dr. Andrea Line, positive psychologist, giftedness expert and coach, and modern-day spiritual godmother to brilliant, deep-feeling women. This isn't just another self-help podcast. It's a sanctuary, a sacred space to come back to yourself. Each week, we'll explore the emotional experience of gifted, sensitive women and what it means to live a life that feels as beautiful as it may look. Because flourishing isn't a luxury, it's your birthright, and your life is waiting. This is the Power to Flourish podcast. Hello. I am coming to you today in a really beautiful season. And by season, I really just mean maybe the last 6 weeks, or maybe I feel like things have intensified over the last 2 to 3 weeks, intensified in just the most gorgeous, breathtaking way. And I thought to myself, we're all on a journey in this life together. And some of my episodes will be much more educational in a way. And then some of them, I think they're just going to be more reflective like this, because I feel like whatever I am experiencing, I don't think it's a coincidence. And I want to share parts of my journey because I think and hope and pray that it will touch at least some of you as you're on your journey and what you may be experiencing right now. So I just thought I'm going to pop on here and to the best of my ability, even though, to be honest, I don't even know if I fully have words to articulate what I have been experiencing. I think I'm going to be unpacking it for a while longer, and I will pop in here again if I feel like there's a moment where that makes sense. But for now, I'm just going to share with you what I feel like I'm learning, or I'm being reminded of, maybe a better way to put it. And it's just it's just such a beautiful season. That's all I can say. My close friends and my husband know I have been an emotional, I'm going to say it this way, but I hope you don't misunderstand. I've been sort of an emotional wreck, and wreck isn't quite the right word. I feel like I'm wrecked in the best way. And what does that look like? Literally, this has looked like most days over the last, let's say, 7 to 10 to 14 days, something around that time period. There is something shifting so profoundly within me that it's like I cannot contain the emotion I feel. And it's coming out in tears, but not sad tears at all. There's no sadness. It's like this mix of love and gratitude, like deep, deep gratitude and awe. And like my brain can't comprehend the bigness of this feeling, if that makes any sense to any of you. Some of you might be listening already and may think, okay, I'm just going to skip. We'll skip to next week. But just trust me, it's just been so beautiful. And I feel like my insides are being rearranged back to how they were meant to be, or something like that. I'm not really quite sure. But the best way, if I try to put this into words, the best way I would put it is this is feeling like a recognition, a deeper recognition, or maybe I would use the word a revelation, which sounds kind of weighty, but I do think that's the correct word, like an experiential revelation of just how loved I am. It feels almost like those words don't capture it. Because on some level, in my journey, in my long adult journey of healing and growing and transforming, I've certainly feel like I've lived at a level where I would honestly say and believe, yes, I feel loved. I'm loved. And yet, if we think about love, and I'm going to use and sort of interchangeably love with the word God. And for some people, the word God, I understand, and I used to be this way. It triggers a lot of things, sometimes, just negative things, connotations, because of so many reasons in our society and our experiences growing up. So I apologize if that word is not the word that you like, but I'm just going to use that word for me because I believe that God is love and love is God. And those are just interchangeable. They're like two sides of the same coin, basically. And if we conceptualize and believe that God is so great that we literally cannot comprehend the greatness of it, of God, then likewise, I feel the same could be said of love. Like, we cannot truly comprehend the greatness, the capacity, the power of that. It's not just like the little human version of love, but like the biggest, most powerful, universal power of love that we, as our little human brains, like cannot comprehend. So with that being said, even though I felt like if you had asked me a month ago, do you feel loved? I would say, yes, I do. I feel loved. I feel secure in that love. I would have said that a year ago. I would have said that, several years ago. I mean, I haven't questioned it. It has not been. Now, when I was younger, I definitely questioned it. So I've come a long, long way. So it's interesting. I find this experience that I'm going through right now delightfully fascinating because I just keep asking the question, like, what is happening? What is this? What is happening that feels like a deepening, that feels like literally my capacity, my inner capacity is being expanded to a next level that is, I know this sounds so, I feel like as I'm saying these words into this microphone right now, I don't even know if I feel like I might delete, delete, because I'm probably going to listen back to this episode and think, okay, you published that and people heard you say those words, but you know what? I mean, it can sound cheesy, right? There's a part of me that's hearing me say these words, and there's a part of me that's like, that can sound just really cheesy. Like, what are you talking about? And yet it's like the truest thing. It's just so true that I cannot deny. And I also feel like I can't not share this here, which is why I'm sharing it. Even though, like I said, I feel like I'm very much in it. I don't feel like whatever this season is, like maybe it never ends. Hopefully it just gets better and better. But it does feel like it's been intensified in the last several weeks. And I'm really maybe more than just the last several weeks, because I think I've been in this shifting mode for probably since early December. I could sense a shift was like around the corner, and then January happened, and now we're in February. So who knows? But definitely over the last few weeks, I would say the tears have been flowing, and not just tears. Now, this is a part. So some of you could hear that part and say, okay, I can relate to that because, you see, sometimes we're moved by something, right? And then we just like our heart wells up with just this warm feeling and it like overflows. And for some of us who are just, more emotional, it overflows into tears. And we're just, it's like your baby is born, or I don't know, you see a movie that is just so moving, right? Like we can relate to something like that on that scale. So I think many of you can relate to what I'm sharing here on some level, hopefully. But it's not just been the tears. So a very interesting thing on the other side of it is on multiple occasions, I feel like I'm just like unloading all my, they're not secrets, but they're like pretty personal things. But again, I'm just on a journey. I'm on a journey. You're on a journey. And so here we are. We're on a journey together. I have had multiple, I'm probably going to start laughing as I share this, but I've had multiple occurrences over the last couple of weeks where I have started to laugh and I'm laughing so hard that I cannot stop. It's like the way I have just shared it with others and using language which you may relate to or not, but it feels like this impartation of joy that like doesn't make sense. Like it just doesn't make sense. Even though I've been in a really good mood the last few weeks, I'm like, I'm laughing, and to the point where literally I'm worried that I'm going to go into some public settings and start laughing and I won't be able to stop. So it's like embarrassing to share this here, but this is exactly what is happening. And this is what I mean by I feel like I am like getting completely wrecked by God right now in this season. What is happening? I'm like, what is going on? I don't know, but it is good. And the way I keep saying it to my friends, it's like, and please don't take this the wrong way, but I feel high. Like I am high. I am not taking anything. I'm just like so high. It's like you're on the mountaintop. That's what I feel. I'm on the mountaintop and I really like it up here. It's great. I would prefer not to have to ever go down from here. So that's the description. That's kind of a general, overview description of what has been going on. And I'm thinking, why did I decide to share all this today? Why did I decide? Okay, here's why I'm sharing it. Because as I've been sitting with it, this feeling of feeling loved, like really loved, like what I said to a girlfriend the other day was, it's not just, you hear these phrases like, oh, God loves you, or I'm loved by God, whatever. And you might not be a churchgoer, but, just the general idea, you get it, of I'm loved. I have value, which again, I feel like I have been living in that place. So that is not groundbreaking for me in my life at this stage. But what it feels like is this very specific, lavish, crazy, over the top, abundant, crazy love. Like crazy love. Like I'm just like God is madly in love with me. Even saying that sounds crazy, but that is the feeling. That's the feeling. That is the feeling. So I have no idea if any of you can relate to this. And I should also say that it's not that I've never had experiences like this in the past, but as I said a few minutes ago, I feel like there's gradations, right? So we get a revelation of how loved we are, and that's where we live. And then if we're open to receiving more, there's another level that we get to experience. And then if we're open to receiving more, there's another level. And so even though I can look back at other very, very salient memories in my faith journey, in my healing journey, like I can look back and remember kind of something similar to this, maybe not quite as extreme. I don't know. I don't want to compare it, but there's just new levels. So I'm in this time right now where it's like, it feels like I'm getting to experience a new level. You might be asking, well, how did that happen? How is that going on? I will tell you that it's not by accident. And I've been very intentional as I've been sharing, sort of as I come in, as I was closing out 2025 and coming into 2026, I've been very intentional because I do feel like this time period is very important for all of us. And I set a specific intention, and I've been practicing over the course of most of February, if not maybe a little even before, receiving and posturing myself to receive more, noticing the places that I have blocked myself from receiving more, and allowing and playing and like actually it's been very playful. I feel like I'm on like the best adventure ever, and it's only been like 2 weeks, but it feels like so much has happened. And it's just been very playful, but it has been intentional. This is not necessarily just happening because I'm just living my life normally, and then all of a sudden I'm getting wrecked, feeling, like love is pouring down over me at all times. And it's like a waterfall, and I'm just in it all the time. It isn't, I believe that love is always here. It's always here. It's literally waiting for somebody to open to it and receive it. If only we took the time and we were intentional enough. And so I have been carving out a lot of time and space in my schedule, and not just time and space in my schedule, but in my mindset, in my beliefs, in my expectations, in my anticipation of things. Like I'm looking at everything and tossing out anything that is not in alignment with what I really believe. So I think all of that has been playing a part. And I wanted to share this today. I mean, I'm not going to really teach anything today. I think next week what I'm going to do is I'm going to do sort of like a part 2, and I'll also have another week to reflect on all of this that is happening in my life. But I do have some thoughts about what I want to share in next week's episode about the difference between the concept of self-love, which is very popular and mainstream these days. And I don't necessarily even think I don't want to say it's not right or wrong. I think that there's value in a lot, depending on how you define it. I think that there can be a lot of value because, especially as someone who grew up with a lot of circumstances that left me feeling unloved and felt like I had a very low sense of self-worth, value, et cetera, all the things. I was like a textbook case. A girl who, and I don't mean this in any judgment of other young women who get themselves in this situation, but as a psychologist, as a therapist, and as a person who walked through this, I was just a textbook case of a young girl who was desperately searching for love, validation, fill in the blank, and found it in relationship with a guy and then got pregnant, right? Like it's textbook. Like my dad had left. There was that whole void. So I'm not going to get into all of that right now, but the point of all of me saying that is I do believe that in a certain context, self-love, and this is what I'll get into more next week, when we think about it as practicing self-compassion and, learning to speak to yourself with kindness and compassion, and all of those things are really important skills that if you grow up in difficult environments, if you grow up with abuse of any kind, it's important to learn those things. So it's not that I don't believe in it at all. I think we need to unpack it. I would like to unpack it. So I'll leave it there. I'll come back to that next week. The word that I feel is resonating with what I'm describing right now is different from self-love. This word that I will use is belovedness. I feel beloved. That is the word I would use. I wouldn't say I feel like I love myself, although I do, but that's not actually what I'm experiencing. That's not what I'm describing. So, belovedness is relational. It has to be. There's an object of love, and I feel like I'm the object of love, capital L. And so are you. And I believe you absolutely are as well. We all are. And again, our nervous system, our body, our experiences, all the things come together to shape how much we experience it, not just know it. And right now, I want to speak specifically to many people that I know who are in the Christian church. And goodness, now that I'm speaking, I can see how this could be many, many podcast episodes, because it's like there's a part of me that wants to have a whole commentary on this, but I won't do that now. I just think that we teach that God is love. You can teach something from your head. You can teach it like it's a textbook. You can even have some experience of it, which is great, and teach it. But the people, I can tell, I can sense it, and so can you. There are certain people that ooze love in the most beautiful way. They just embody it. They embody it. And those, to me, are the real spiritual leaders. There are plenty of people who have platforms, who lead churches, who lead, large masses of people on the internet or whatever, right? And they may be teaching something that technically is correct, but the spirit behind it doesn't really feel loving. And I think all of you know or have had some experience witnessing that, right? And so it just doesn't, it's not aligned. And it turns people off, as it should. I mean, I've had experiences anyway. It turns me off. So I want to be someone personally who is on the path to embody more of this love. Like, I want to embody as much of it as humanly possible that I can experience on my time on this earth. I don't know how much that is, but I can just tell you that I feel like it's like the tip of the iceberg or whatever that I've been experiencing this month is so magnificent and so breathtaking. And like, truly, if I'm not focused on doing work or something, my mind just goes immediately back to, I just can't believe it. Like, I just can't believe it. My mind can't comprehend it. And it's the most amazing feeling. It feels like you could, I was going to say you could walk in the air. You could walk on the air. You could walk on the water. That's kind of what it feels like. So I'm not going to go on and on anymore, because I feel like I just need to stop myself and hope that the point of me sharing this meets you wherever you are today. I'm just going to pray and hope that me sharing this meets you right where you are today. And if you do not feel that sense of belovedness, if that's something that you realize as you hear me talk about this and you're like, yeah, I mean, not really, or, it feels light, or maybe not there at all, I just want to encourage you that you can set the intention to be curious and follow. I like to call it following the bunny trail, seeing where we're led. Seeing where God leads us in the adventure of every day. And I think when we just say yes to that, even in the smallest little things, He can surprise and delight us. And those things, at least I'm reflecting on what's happened for me in the last couple of weeks, even the small little things, they just start to add up. I don't really know how else to say it. but it's fun. It's adventurous. And I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it as a way to be living life. Every day is an adventure. I'm literally waking up every day like, okay, what's going to happen today? Because that's how my days are going. So in closing, I'll just leave you with a few questions, because as I was sort of touching on earlier, self-love and belovedness, I think there's maybe some kind of overlap, but I feel like self-love, even the way we talk about it in our culture, feels like something I have to like practice, right? People have their affirmations that they say or whatever. And I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with doing those things necessarily. Again, all with context. But belovedness is something I inhabit. Self-love is something I practice. Belovedness is something I inhabit. It feels very different. So I invite you to reflect on a few things as I close. Where are you, or might you still be trying to generate love just from within yourself, internally, or maybe even externally with other people? Where are you still performing from that place of like striving for the love? And what would soften if you knew you were already so secure, so loved? You're totally backed. Like you're good. If you really knew that, if you really, really, really knew that, what would soften? What would get easier? What would feel lighter? So next week, I'd love to explore this a little bit more, like from a more of like a psychological perspective. Unpack what self-love means when we're, kind of defining it in research and that sort of thing. And look at this piece of belovedness, because I think it's all important to understand and talk about on this journey of becoming who we are meant to be. And in 2026, as I've been saying, it's gonna be a fun, wild ride, and it can be really fun if you decide to join the fun. I think that's the best way to put it. So I will leave it at that. The other thing I want to mention is that just this past week, I launched my first group focused on the relationship we have with ourselves, and it's called Adored. And you can no longer join for this circle because it is a closed group, but I'm already so delighted with it. I was just trusting that whoever was supposed to be in this first group, the right people would be in the group. It couldn't be more perfect and tailored for this particular group. And I have a feeling I will likely run it again later this year. It's only 4 weeks long. I may decide later that we want to lengthen it a little bit, and I'll get some feedback from these ladies. But I just want to mention it here because a lot of what we're talking about really does have to do with our self-worth, our value, our belovedness, all of those things. So it's a beautiful place. It's a container really for that relational development, interaction, transformation. It's not a course. It's very much, I am in it with you through the weeks. So I just wanted to mention that. It's called Adored. I will add the link so you can just sort of read about it, even though you can't sign up to do it right at the moment. But if you're interested, please just reach out to me, and you can do that on Instagram or you can email me, and I will keep you in the loop for the next time I'm running that, and you'll be the first to know. So that would be a great thing to do. Thank you for just hanging in with me today. It's kind of I feel a little funny. I feel a little, like I said, I'm a little bit in the clouds today in a good way. And I look forward to unpacking this a bit more with you next week. I hope you have a beautiful week ahead. And hopefully the sun is warming up wherever you may be. It's definitely getting nicer here in North Carolina. And until I see you next time, keep flourishing. Thank you for listening to the Power to Flourish podcast. I hope today's conversation left you feeling more seen, more supported, and more deeply connected to yourself. And if this episode resonated, would you take a moment to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with a friend? It's one of the best ways to help this work reach the women who need it most. You'll find show notes, links, and resources from today's episode at powertoflourish.com. And now just a quick reminder, this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not therapy, medical advice, or a substitute for professional support. And listening doesn't make me your therapist or doctor, though if you're looking for a coach, you know where to find me. All right, beautiful one, that's it for now. Until next time, trust yourself, honor your gifts, and keep flourishing.